So now we are going to discuss about multi-protocol label switching, optical bus switching networks, optical network deployment. So here in multi-protocol label switching, it is used to provide efficient routing, forwarding and switching process whenever the traffic is very high in any optical packet switching network. It was originally proposed by the Cisco systems, and it was also called as tag switching when it was used by Cisco proposal. But later it was renamed as label switching when the concept was adopted by the internet service providers. Multi-protocol label switching uses the labels to forward the traffic across various packet switched networks. So that is what we do using a multi-protocol label. And if I consider the process, when the labeled packet arrives at the label switching router, we generally term it as LSR. The incoming label will determine the path of this particular packet, which has to be transferred from one point to the other. In this, the forwarding will be swapped with the label to appropriate outgoing label and send the packet on the next networking hop. So earlier we have discussed about a single hop and multi hops. So here we are going to use a multi hop concept for an outgoing label which can be established using a particular path which is set up early from a source to the destination. So these labels are assigned to the packets which are based on grouping or forwarding the classes. So in this MPLS process, we have a lookup and forwarding system which also allows the explicit control of the routing. Earlier we have discussed about the routing which is done internally based on the configuration of the network. But here we consider it explicit control of the routing which is based on the two address. One is destination, the other is a source. So based on these two addresses, the routing is done and it is done explicitly. And in this case, the packets label are assigned only once. It is not assigned multiple times. And the switching is based on the label information which is sent. So here the MPLS is a virtual circuit which is set up depending on the requirement of the traffic, and also it depends on the type of the network. So here we discuss about that by considering the switching and the implementation of this MPLS. So for this we are going to consider time division multiplexing optical networks, that is TDM process is used in this optical networks, wherein we have the node which uses the switches as an element for transfer of data from the time slots in an incoming interface. So that is what happened in this particular optical networks. So coming to this, we see that there are several examples which are highlighted here. So this is about a time with the traffic type of TDM or SONET synchronous network, what we have discussed earlier. And here the time slot in a repeated cycle instead of a single cycle, and a packet which is having a traffic type of IP or IP router which uses the ATM switch and implementation of a label and a header. And coming to the traffic type of transparent, so it is an optical domain what we are going to use earlier based on the optical cross connect switches. So here we are using it, implementing it using the wavelength switches. So in this, we are supposed to maintain a flexibility in the process by considering several protocols here, which is assigned in these two layers, layer 2 and layer 3 of an OSI model, which is supporting this asynchronous transfer mode ATM, which was generally used in the form of packets which are used as the frames earlier. fragmentation process. Then we consider the VPNs, virtual private networks, which was deployed for the SONET networks. And we have a dedicated wide area network under these VPNs in order to connect their offices around the world. So interconnection between these networks is done by a dedicated network, which is a wide area network in this process. And here the data forwarding is not limited to a function. Rather than packet forwarding, we should have a solution to enable this technique to retain the simplicity of the forwarding process. So that is what considered in the physical fiber ports. And it is not possible for different networks to look into the contents of the received data and hereby extracting the label. So that is what is done. And optical packet networks are able to send the headers of the packets, check the label, and carry out certain decisions depending on the path which is required or used. This is not in the case of optical TDM or a dense WDM networks. So generalized MPLS, GMPLS. So it is the extension of this protocols what we are using in this. And also earlier the former circuit also uses the OXCs, optical cross connect switches, which is highly dependent on the type of network and topologies or combination of topologies used in this. And this GMPLS also provides a control and management that is based on the routing, signaling, and linking process. Both of these factors are very significant in the optical link failure if there is any. Then the signaling protocols used for the establishment of label switched paths, that is LSPs for the GMPLS, includes the enhancements such as label exchange to include non-packet networks, establishment of bidirectional LSPs, and signaling for the establishment of a back path, and expediting label assignment through a suggested label, etc. Then in addition to this, we have a control channel management, which is established by considering the link parameters and the link connectivity verification, link property correlation, and fault isolation. So that is what we are also considering to enable a single or multiple faults which are isolated in the optical domain. And any such implementation is done using this GMPLS optical network. And by using this, the speed and efficiency performance improvements are done. Then we have the optical bus switching networks. So in this, we have a combining aspects of optical circuit switching and optical packet switching, which normally results in OBS, which is optical bus switching. And OPS operates at a sub-wavelength level. It therefore provides a rapid setup and teardown of optical network light pulses. So this hybrid switching, what we are going to consider using a routing technology, uses the electronics to control routing decisions, but keeps the data in the optical domain and it passes through the optical node. So this is what happens in the concept of bus switching. So we see a multiplexer, demultiplexer, and the data bus which are sent over this optical terminals. And here in this, the packets which is having a common destination are aggregated in edge routing nodes into a larger transmission units here, which are termed as bus or data bus DB, each of which are transmitted separately from a data control packet called as a bus header cell BHC, which is containing certain information such as switching and destination address. So the diagram represents the concept of OBS with four edge routers of a large network what we have seen, and there is an establishment of link between the data sources taken as TX and receivers taken as RX individually or by using the multiplexers or demultiplexers. Then optical bursts containing both the data bus and the BHC travel on a control channel. An ideal channel on the access link is selected when a data bus is required to be sent, whereas the BHC travels on the control channel related to the associated data in time. So the OBS edge router will receive the information from the BHC, assigns the incoming bus to an available channel, which is on the outgoing link, and which leads towards the destination, which is the desired one, and establishes a path between the specified channel on the access link and channel selected to carry the bus packets. It also forwards the BHC on the control channel of the selected link and modifying the cell to specify the channel on which the bus is being forwarded. So this process is repeated at every routing node along with the path to the destination. And the BHC also includes the offset field which contains the time between the transmission of the first bit of the BHC and first bit of the bus, and a length field specifying the time duration of the bus. So one or several channels on each link can be reserved for control information that is used to control the dynamic assignment of the remaining channels or user data bus. And also we have considered the wavelength division multiplexing transmission links, which is shown here, which carry a number of wavelength channels and a user data bus which can be dynamically assigned to any of these channels. And figure shows the edge routers function in more detail. We saw that earlier where the bus assembly and disassembly operations are considered, and we are considering the users which are operating on different formats, that is IP, SONET, ATM and wavelength division multiplexing, which sends the different data to the edge router. So the router disassembles the data and issues the BHCs using C1 and C2 on the data control channel. So this is how the performance of SDH and SONET is done using the edge router, wherein we consider the users identified here with the bus transfer. So here each bus may contain a different data. For example, bus 1 contains the data PA2, PS1 and PS2, where the subscripts A and S represent the format of SDH. So in order to perform the bus assembly as shown in this diagram, we have two BHCs, that is C3 and C4, for the data bus 3 and 4 respectively. So that is what we have seen in the diagram. The users can receive the corresponding data which is disassembled, and the edge router receives from the core router. So it should be considered here for sending any information to the users and transmission and bustification. So here the signal formats may be used, then various signaling and control protocols can be employed, and reservation and scheduling of resources can be considered here. Depending on the network dimension and granularity or the size of the bus, we are going to consider the signaling protocols in the OBS. So the two signaling, sending back an acknowledgement signal to confirm that there is a safe arrival of the signal, so which was requested. So there is no feedback mechanism whenever one-way signal protocol is considered here. So we have tell and go protocol, that is TAG, and just enough time, that is JET protocol. So these are referred to as one-pass reservation protocols which are used in this process. Examples for this are the bus reservation and scheduling process. So in case of this JET or attack protocol, the bus transmission does not wait for the acknowledgement of the successful end-to-end path setup, but the bus transmission is initiated immediately or shortly after the bus has been assembled, which follows the control packet which is being sent out. And this tag protocol is delayed with respect to the control header. Then the delay is referred to as an offset time, and it can be reduced by compensating the processing time. So in this scheme, bandwidth is wasted, but the burst drop rate increases, and it is not considerable to be the reliable one. And due to the sub-millisecond burst duration in tag burst management, so this is considered for the application in metropolitan area networks wherein the distances are comparatively shorter. So these two protocols have a delayed transmission, and they have to wait for the acknowledgement before sending a burst. So that is the issue with this. And this assumes the conventional end-to-end transmission, that is virtual path setup, leading to a setup delay for the optical burst. It is in milliseconds. And here the bandwidth is wasted and can be much higher than the bandwidth actually which is required for actual data transmission. So in this process, we have bus reservation scheduling, which is assigned, and the resources of the individual switching nodes. So a reserve limited duration and reserve fixed duration schemes are commonly adopted for this bus reservation. And for this, it requires the sender to send a signal and start it, and the end of the bus and resources are explicitly reserved until the end of the first transmission. So that is possible here. And these R&D and RFD schemes are used for improving the wavelength selection by minimizing the errors. Advanced techniques are also used here, such as adaptive and autonomic OBS, which has been proposed, and new routing processes are used in this, whereas it can use a feedback mechanism to optimize the selection of control and routing information. So that is also possible. Then we have the optical network deployment. Optical network deployment, we consider it based on the evolution of network topologies and its associated protocols, which can provide efficient and high capacity operation. And significance of this networks which are used here are we should have a higher speed and increased functionality and reliability. So that is what we consider. We have a public telecommunication network which is with on-site or on-premises LANs. So this is how the diagram is considered for this particular concept of optical network, wherein we see that there are EDFAs used for amplification, multiplexer and demultiplexer for multiplexing and demultiplexing the signal at the transmitting and receiving nodes. Then we have the optical add-drop multiplexer, wherein we are supposed to add the signals of different wavelengths, or we are supposed to drop the signals of different wavelengths. And we have the LANs which are connected to this, we have the MAN which are connected to this, we have the mobile communication network which are connected to this, we have the access network and satellite communications which can be done through this particular concept. So this is an example of modern complex optical network which is considered here. And we have the DWDM backbone in this particular add-drop channels which are acting together with the core system, which is accessed by both the metropolitan area networks and also access networks, which together can contribute to the enterprise and local area networks. But due to the deployment of these optical networks presently, in some of the areas we have the public telecommunication network, and also in some of the regions we further describe this as the local area networks.